Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I have a replay sent in for our pleasure by Thugnit, and he will share some great marksmanship in the Tiger 2 Sla.16. And first victim of the day is this ISU 152, and did you see that little bit of wobbling on the aiming reticle? That was him setting up his distance, and you can do this. I've made a guide on this, how to do this. It's not 100% correctly represented in the replay though, because the horizontal line just wanders up. It actually then is on the distance set, and in combination with the binoculars he will just dominate this position, and it is more or less a full down tier, which is absolutely great for the Tiger 2. Now, the Tiger 2 and me, we have quite a history in War Thunder, and this was, well, one of those great loves that I had back in the days, and it was just simply one of the strongest tanks in the game. Now, obviously, there were the IS-3 and the IS-4, but if you had a lucky game where you didn't meet them, there was just no opposition, except in arcade, the Jagdtiger, but that's a different story. In realistic though, this tank was unmatched, unprecedented armor and firepower, together with somewhat still okay-ish mobility. And a lot, and I mean a lot, has changed over the past couple of years in War Thunder. The introduction of new nations, obviously higher tier and higher battle rating vehicles, power creep, feature creep, compression, all the good things that make a free-to-play title. So what is, for example, power creep? Well, that is at the same battle rating a vehicle that can do the same things, just better. For example, the RE251 has just a significantly better gun, is significantly faster, can scout, can help your allies to be repaired, etc, etc. Obviously it doesn't have the armor, but best armor in War Thunder is no armor, as we all know. And so he's now dominating this position, and whatever you might wanna say about this gameplay being boring, static, he actually put the Tiger 2 in that one position where it's exceptionally good. At long range, angled, just holding down the enemy's advance. And so he's just a sniper support that in a way something like a Waffenträger or a Jagdpanther couldn't be. And the Tiger 2's armor is just really good to deal with enemies at long range. The hull is more or less impenetrable at, for lower battle rating vehicles, as long as they don't have any sort of fancy heat defense that just ruins everybody's day. The next thing is feature creep, and feature creep is something like stabilizers, new ammunition types. I'm talking here about AP-FSDs, I'm talking here about also autoloaders and stabilizers, APDS, quick firing tanks, more armor, special kind of armor. This is all counted somewhere in the region of feature creep and power creep. Very interesting here is this duel with this Jumbo Sherman 76, and that is because he doesn't outright kill him. And this is one of those things. Finally, the first penetration here on the transmission in the front, he corrects his aim, and then finally his fourth kill. I cut out the first 5 minutes or so because it took him quite a while to get into this position, and it was quite embarrassing to watch. What we also can see is that the team's tickets have actually halved by the time that he is now working on his fifth kill. And so you could say, well, he's missing on the front line. He's not helping his team out directly, and he's just farming kills here and there. And to a certain degree, that is correct. But again, this is what the Tiger 2 does best, staying at range and holding down enemy tanks. And for example, this T-25 is there on a mission for flanking, or rather it was, before a shot to the turret ring or turret front took him out. So at first glance it might look a little bit boring here, this binocular sniping, but at the same time you can see that he's not doing this for the first time. I know that some strange positions on some maps exist, but I don't really bother with them. I personally can't help myself. I need to push forward aggressively. I just need to bring the fight directly to the enemy. And I also want to secure the objective whenever this is possible. Beautiful shot straight through the upper front plate of an M26. And, in this position, it is always a fine balance where your team exactly is positioned, what your team composition is. But again, this is a full down tier, and watch this shot. He actually hit the A2D2 that just deleted one of his comrades. So you are a little bit of a sniper support in this tank there. And the Tiger 2 isn't really all that great in close quarters combat. It's just too heavy, too clumsy, and the side profile is huge. And while the tank's armor isn't bad, it's just very easy to outflank it. And you know, there is the back turret ammo rack. There is just the turret face at close quarters where you just can snipe it with every sort of shell type, APCR, APDS, APHE, everything except hash, except then the very extreme big hash. But that aside, this tank is just, when it works, it's one of those great memorable battles that you have, where you stay at long range, where you suppress the enemy. Whenever I have such a great battle, I just want to highlight it. And so, for example, one of my most memorable games that I had on Kursk was, first of all, one in the E100, and then the second one was also in a Tiger 2. And it's just so immersive, it's just so good, and just so cool, and so fun to stay at range. Just absorb the shots, you know, and dish it out, and just angling, wiggling forwards and backwards, just absorbing the shells to your turret, you know, to the gun mantlet or to the side of the turret, wiggling the turret a little bit. And this is only possible with a little bit of distance. War Thunder has gone down the route of very small maps, which I'm not a fan of. I mean, there must be small maps. Don't get me wrong, we need variety, but all that we have, especially with the current map rotation, is small city maps, and that makes me sad. The next thing was always this great misunderstanding that I thought that this tank is bad. This tank was never bad, and hopefully also will never be bad. It has its strength and it has its weaknesses. The one thing that this tank for a very long time didn't have was quick flanking support. And this is something where, for example, the Americans really excel, especially at the battle rating. Look at the light tanks, all the meme machines, the M56 Scorpion, the T114, and some other great machines, the Super Hellcat. They have such an easy time to flank and to just hide in a spot where you would never just look, and then either APHE or then just simply heat FS, or the combination of both. And now with the third shot into the back of the M41 Walker Bulldog, he actually gets an ammo rack detonation because War Thunder, whatever. And that's already his 9th kill. That's a quite successful battle. Now with so many kills from this dominant position where he also distracts the enemy, you know, forces them into cover and just absorbs the shots, he is actually a benefit to his team. Funnily enough, you know, he is also dealing here with this tank with a beautiful shot into the back of the turret, but some other tanks that we again see the markers here, he doesn't see. Because graphic settings, because distance, because you're concentrating on another section of the screen. And so I think one of the healthiest thing for all you elitists out there is to watch your own gameplays, especially the ones where you think that you have done well, because there is still so much to learn. A tank that you didn't see, a position that you know that you didn't know, or just where you survived by pure luck, or where you were saved by a teammate, never actually knowing it. So this is very healthy if you think that you're a really great tanker, because you could be always a better one, and that is especially true for me. And so I learned quite a lot with those replays that you guys sent in, which I'm very grateful for. I feature you guys once in a while, you know, sometimes a lot of good replays come in, sometimes, you know, the replay is missing, there are no post-battle results screenshots, and then there is no description whatsoever. I think just if you want to send me an email, beautiful shot through the top of the turret front here for his 11th kill, can you believe it? So if you want to send me an email, just send it to me in a way as you want to receive also one email. Just write in the title, WT, game mode, tank or lineup that you played, amount of kills, maybe something super special, maybe a scene, you know, that was exceptionally funny or cool or outstanding in your RNG luck or whatever. That would be nice. And oh, he actually now got just a plain kill on the A2D that he shot much earlier. I think that he crashed on landing, giving him the kill, which is lucky with the current way that War Thunder actually gifts you the kills. Sometimes you get nothing even though you got multiple critical hits. Talking about a critical hit for his 12th tank kill on a T-34 85. So the Tiger 2 also has one big problem. It's the all or nothing armor scheme, right? So it doesn't have a particular weak spot. Yes, there is the machine gun port, but that's not really working all that well, right? That's like pixel hunting, and then it also is down to RNG. Yes, it's possible, but rather unlikely. So he's just happily blazing away, and he is very low on APCVC rounds. And then watch that shot on the PT-76. The shell actually over-penetrates, detonates on the ground, sends the shrapnels upwards through the thin belly armor of the PT-76 and just deleting him. And then in quick succession, the next one. And that, with the aircraft kill, is his triple ace. But oh no, what are you doing? Too much snaps. He celebrated with too much snaps and actually got himself stuck here. That is slightly embarrassing, but, you know, can you really blame him? He has supported his team greatly here. He has put a lot of pressure off him, and, you know, tying down so many tanks, killing so many tanks, allowed the rest of his team to actually capture A in the process and getting really close to victory. But this position isn't great, and as you can see, he can't really turn his turret. The tank is in the mode as if he would have been flipped over. And as you can see, funny tracks, man. Yeah, Gaijin physics. But he has a comrade with him, and that is, what is it? A Tiger 2. No, a Tiger 1, sorry. That looks beautiful. Let's admit it. That looks beautiful. So, the game is about to end, right? So, nothing more to see here. But what is that? Oh boy. That is a Centurion Mark III, and he just has a completely disabled Tiger 2 to shoot. But he has to concentrate here on the Tiger, and that Tiger is in an iffy position himself. So, is he now getting killed right at the end due to his own stupid mistake? Sorry about this, but that was hilarious. Centurion Mark III is pouring shots into the poor Tiger 1, but then a little bit of help comes from yet another tank, and he just sets the Centurion Mark III on fire, and it seems like he took out the gunner, or he just took out the turret ring. Nevertheless, that's the game. That's the game. So let's have a quick look at the post-battle results. And what a great battle result it is. 168,000 silver lines and 21,000 RP for 14 tank kills, 1 aircraft kill, and a victory with a premium account. So thank you very much for sending this one in, and I hope that you enjoyed the game as much as I did. Again, Tiger 2, fantastic tank in the right circumstances. It just rarely happens, and very often you just are one of the first tanks to die. Too much compression, too much power creep, too much feature creep, but when games like these happens, it's oh so great. So that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, lol. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like with it, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.